This video is on hyperlinking. Now, I like to think of hyperlinking as with one click you can get to where you want to go. Let's say you're up at the front of your room and you're teaching your lesson up at the whiteboard, and all of a sudden you need to go out to a website. Instead of having to run back to your computer, type in that web address, you can do that with just a click of a button up at your board, making it very seamless and easy to teach and go about teaching that lesson. There are 4 different ways to hyperlink, or 4 different things that you can hyperlink. You can hyperlink out to a website, to files on your computer, file attachments, and pages within your lesson. And I'll show you each and every one of those, starting with website. So how do you hyperlink to a website? Whenever you are hyperlinking, you can hyperlink from an image or a text box. So in this case, I'm going to link this image of a goldfish out to my Goddard website. So I'm going to select my image, right-click and go down to hyperlink, and then you have a couple options. Now with hyperlinking, you're always going to keep your action as on click. With a click of a button, you'll get there, and your feature is launch hyperlink. Now I'm going to choose this link to box, and I'm actually going to leave it because it says link to web page. So I'm good with that. Now I can either type in my web address. Starting with your W's is always a good idea, because then your HTTPs will always come in. But in this case, I'm just going to go straight out to my website. I'm going to copy that URL, and then I'm going to paste it right in. Once I choose OK, then I get a blue border that comes up around my image. To get rid of that, I can lock it down. But that blue border to start out with shows you that you actually hyperlink something, so that's good news. Whenever you see those 2 gold links or those 2 gold chains, that means that something is hyperlinked. So this image is obviously hyperlinked, and when I click on it, it's going to take me right out to my website. Now that is linking to a website. Let's talk about linking to a file on our computer. Now when you're linking to a file on your computer, again, you're going to want an image or a text box to link from. In this case, I like to link out to files on my computer, especially like large videos. Maybe I have a huge video, it's like 30 minutes long, but it's on Benjamin Franklin, and it's perfect for my kids. It really explains everything, and they have fun watching it. So I'm going to actually link out to that instead of bring it into my Mimio lesson, because that would just make my Mimio file huge, and it would take forever to load and save and all that good stuff. So again, grab your image, select it, go down to hyperlink, and I'm going to keep these the same. This time I'm going to keep link to the same again because it says existing file right here, and I'm going to go over here to browse. This is going to have me browse my computer. So I happen to have a video right here, object grouping. I'm going to select that or double click on it, choose open. It loads it right there in that little box. I click OK, and I get that blue border, so I can right click and lock it down to get rid of that. But now whenever I left click on that image, it's going to actually open up that video in its native application. So native application being Windows Media Player in this case. And that way, again, it just doesn't make your file size huge with your Mimio file. Before I show you how to link to a file attachment, I want to show you a little trick here. I'm actually going to link out to a math map, which is a PDF that I have that I like the kids to use as a reference sheet. So when I look at 1, 2, 3 here, I don't know that I'm linking out to my math mat. So I like to bring words up together sometimes with my picture so that I know what I'm linking to, and so that I have that reference myself. So to link something, instead of having 2 separate objects, I need to bring them together and group them. So remember our mouse, highlight, right click, and group that you learned in a different video, just to make it one movable object so that I can then link it. To link to a file attachment, your file attachments are actually located over here on the right-hand side usually. So I'm going to have those pop up for a second. You can see here that normally you have your thumbnails on the right-hand side. I turned them off just so it's easier to view these videos. But this little folder over here, right next to your thumbnail view and underneath all of that good stuff, is your file attachments. And you can actually drag and drop lots of different things inside of your file attachment pane to have them be extras of your lesson. Like if you have supplemental things for your lessons, you'll want to put them in your file attachments, but that'll be covered in a different video. In this case, I just simply have a math resource mat in my file attachment pane, and instead of having to do that, go into my folder and then double click on my PDF here, I want to just be able to get to that file attachment straight from clicking on this little image. So this is where I'm headed to. I'm going to select my image, right click and hyperlink, and I'm going to use this drop down menu this time. So choosing that arrow, and your attachments are always going to be at the very, very bottom. So choose attachment. Click OK, you get your blue border, so let's lock it down so we don't have to see that. And then I'm going to left click on that lovely little picture that I grouped, and now I have my math mat so that it's right there. And again, this is going to open up in the native application also, which is a PDF in this case. Last but not least, we have linking to pages within your lesson. You can quickly navigate through pages in your lesson, especially if they're rather large, by linking in between your pages. So what do I mean by that? Well, here's an example of how you link from a text box. So I'm going to select my text box, I'm going to right click, go down to hyperlink, and then I'm going to use this drop down menu again. You can see here I have my first, last, previous, next page. I can also link to a specific page number. In this case, I'm just going to link to page next. I'm on page 4 right now, but when I choose page next, it's going to take me to page 5. So let's lock that down, click on it, and now you can see I'm on page 5 of 5. Now here's an example just of using it when you're creating your lessons, especially like our Envision topics. We have lots of different little daily lessons that we have in one big topic. So you could put all that together and then link to each of your individual daily lessons so that you don't have to create, 20 different lessons just for one topic. You can make it easier on yourself by linking between the pages. So you can see here, this is going to link to page 1. And then I have a cute little home button on every single page that's going to link me back to this main hub of a page that has all of those pictures on it to link to and from. So there's page 2. This is just linking to page 3. This is linking to page 4, and then back to my home button. And that's hyperlinking.